think it's fair to say that our generation of young men is the most undisciplined that we've ever had in our history. Most of us here in the West live in a society that teaches us to be weak. We're told that we should be in tune with our emotions and always maximize our well being, that working too hard is bad, and that we should strive for work life balance. We're told that it's okay to have down days if we don't feel like doing work, that it's okay to have that pizza, binge that Netflix show. Top of that, if you were raised by a single mother like me, you might have been coddled and sheltered from the harshness of the world, and your mother might have tried to protect you from pushing yourself too hard, from being too adventurous, and taking too many risks in your life. What's the result of all this modern conditioning? We've become slaves to instant gratification, meaning something that is pleasurable right now but harms us down the line. You'd watch a reel on TikTok for 2 seconds before scrolling onto the next one, hoping for another spike of dopamine. We have 4K porn, VR porn, 60 frames per second video games, and we could feasibly be locked up in our rooms for days on end, stimulating ourselves with all this content. Attention span and work ethic are so poor that most of us can't even sit down to do our work, read a book, or even be present during a conversation. We're categorically the weakest men in our bloodline, but you clicking on these videos shows that you understand that something is wrong and must be changed, and I respect you for that. Now, just like you might have, I've consumed a lot of content on discipline over the years. For example, I read a few of Jocko Willink's books, watched a lot of YouTube videos, listened to several podcast episodes on the topic, and I've been implementing habits in my own life that would help make me a more disciplined young man. And one of the biggest gains that I've received from all this has been that I'm actually getting more work done. And therefore, I'm advancing on my goals, whether they're physically in the gym or in martial arts or in business and my career, or even socially in my relationships. Secondly, my self-image and sense of self-respect have massively improved just from being able to stick to something that is challenging, boring, but will give you that long-term reward. Just makes you see yourself in a different light. You see yourself as a man who's serious about his mission, about his goals. And it's hard not to respect that version of yourself. Yeah. Through this exercise, I've come to the conclusion that if you're going to adopt one habit as a man, then let it be this: do the things that you don't want to do. Because it's those things that most often will lead to the most sustainable form of reward and the biggest gains for your life. You see, our mind, our biology, is wired in a way that protects us from harm and discomfort. And I'm sure that you've experienced this plenty of times in your life so far, whether that's you starting on an assignment for university and your mind is really telling you to do anything else but do that, or you have this inertia, you can't really get yourself to go up and go to the gym because it's uncomfortable, you're going to be in pain after the session. Instead of using all sorts of fancy tactics that you may have come across in books, in clickbaity YouTube videos, I'm going to give you a very blunt piece of advice. Listen to what your brain is saying and do the exact opposite. Simple as that. Let's say your brain is telling you to pick up your phone and scroll on Instagram when you're supposed to be doing some work. Make a point of putting it away. Don't touch it. And if you need to, lock it away or put it in a different room. Your brain tells you to go sort out the laundry because, you actually have to do it, but that's actually a cope so you don't do your real work. Then just make your brain shut up. Now, just because I said it's simple doesn't mean that it's easy. And I sometimes still struggle with this myself. One thing I learned about how our brains work, which was a breakthrough for me, is that our mind will choose to do the thing that's relatively the most enjoyable from your list of available activities. Scientists did a study where they put university students alone in a room with nothing apart from a buzzer, and they were told that pressing the buzzer would give them an electric shock. Guess what happened? Of the 18 male students put in the room, 12 of them pressed it. So even though that caused them pain, their brain still chose to do it because it was relatively better than just sitting there and thinking. You have in your environment things like Instagram, porn, video games. Those things are always going to be more fun, more stimulating than doing whatever work you have to be doing. But if you remove these elements, your work will become relatively more enjoyable than the alternative, which would be just sitting and staring at your wall. And that's when you actually start making progress in your tasks. You're gonna fail at this several times, to be honest, and I'm not perfect either. You'll end up picking up your phone again or opening a different tab on your laptop to distract yourself from work. That's fine. It's all about incremental gains. So right now, let's say you always give in to your Instagram, your porn addiction, instead of doing work. Well, you have a 0% success rate in terms of choosing to do your task. Let's say that increases to 10, 20%. So now at least you're doing your work 10, 20% of the time. That's infinitely times better. And from there, it's only going to get easier because what I've learned about discipline and willpower is it does work like a muscle in the gym. The more you use it, the bigger the capacity for work is, and the stronger the temptations that you can resist are. Discipline is the best weapon, I think, that you can have in your arsenal to look past all the distractions, all the temptations of the modern world. And of course, motivation is nice to have, but it's not going to be there consistently, as you're aware. You might be watching this video and be motivated for the next half an hour to do some work, but then it's going to taper off. It's just not sustainable enough for you to achieve long term success. Because if you are a masculine man, then you'll be setting some ambitious goals that will take months, years to achieve. Motivation just isn't going to be with you for long enough at a time to get you there. So that's why you need discipline. If you want to track your progress with this, and I think you should, and I personally have to get more consistent with this, then keep a tally of the number of mental exchanges you win, the number of times where you pick your work over your distractions in a given day, and put a tick for each time you have one of these successful mental exchanges, and watch them stack up over time, over the next weeks, months, years. It's going to be so satisfying to see yourself progress. Jocko Willink's book, Discipline Equals Freedom, is a fantastic resource for learning more about discipline. So if you haven't read it, then I highly recommend you do so. I'm going to link it down in the description. If you want to overcome the fatherlessness you experienced growing up, like me, then I really think discipline is the best way to do it because it's going to shape your character into that of a man who can handle stress, who can handle hardship, who is capable to stick to something until he becomes successful, whether that's in his career or his relationships, raise an amazing family with values, and provide for them. Really, for everyone, whether they had a father or not, being disciplined and going for the long term delayed gratification is so much better than the instant gratification society is trying to sell to us. Think about it. Let's say for the next few months, a couple of years, you choose to really knuckle down on your career or in your business. And that means occasionally turning down the invites from your friends to go out partying at the weekend, to take drugs, or to just go drinking at the local pub on a Friday night. And in the meantime, while you're doing these things, you might get that fear of missing out, the FOMO, and your friends might look down on you. They might give you some shit for just being boring and not being one of the guys anymore. But after that period is up and you decide to indulge in some of these activities, the level at which you can have fun is going to be so much higher than the level at which your friends are having fun. Because by now you've maybe been promoted in your career, maybe your business has started earning some steady income, you're saving up, you're able to invest money, you can even splash on some nice holiday. So you can be out on a boat in Dubai if you want, partying with influencers or doing whatever you want to do, or getting a private jet with your friends if you're really successful and fly off somewhere. Meanwhile, your friends are still stuck in the same local pub, the same dingy old tavern that they were drinking in 2 years ago when they were laughing at you for starting your business. So you see, it's really worth playing the long term game. And that's something that I keep in my mind as I go through my own journey because I'm very far from successful. And having that vision inspires me to keep going after it. And it gives me reassurance that I am doing the right thing, sticking to my mission. I'm not saying they should go ahead and be a recluse and never go out and do social things. Of course not. But understand your priorities at any given moment. So if for the next 6 months, growing your business is really important to you, then it's fine to be a bit of a recluse, be a bit boring or whatever your friends might call you. And then you can indulge in some of the activities after those 6 months are up and then go back to the grind. What's nice is the longer you stick to something for, and you may have experienced this, for example, with the gym, it will actually require less willpower and will start becoming more enjoyable because A, you'll start seeing results, and B, you'll just be used to that activity. It will become your new normal. So, for example, maybe at the beginning, it was hard to get yourself to go to the gym. You'd be sore the next day after every workout. But now it's maybe the best part of your day. You look forward to going and to hitting a good weight session or CrossFit or whatever it is that you want to do. And you actually get the dopamine rush that people get from alcohol and drugs, but you get it from something that's healthy and beneficial to you. That's a massive superpower. And remember, you're going to have good days and bad days doing this. And if you're a young man like me early in this journey, then you probably have more bad days than good, to be honest. But the time's going to pass by anyway, so we might as well crack on and enjoy the process. That's it from me, bro. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it useful and can relate to anything I've said, then give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more videos like this. As always, you can join our Discord community using the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.